Got a 2011 Acura MDX, and it's making a popping, clicking sound when turning left. Went for a quick test drive with a camera underneath, and this is what it sounds like. Well, that doesn't sound good. I think we've got a bad CV joint. Hey, what's up YouTube? Dan the Fix-It Man. Got another quick video here for you. I'm going to show you how to change your CV shaft or axle shaft on a 2011 Acura MDX. Now it looks like the outside joint on this front driver's side is starting to leak. The boot tore and the grease leaked out, and it's making a popping, clicking sound when turning left sharply under acceleration. So we're just going to go ahead and change out the entire CV shaft or axle assembly, and I'll show you how easy it is to get that done. You will need a 36mm socket. If you've got an impact, great. If not, just a nice long breaker bar will work. You do need a 22 to take off the lug nuts. Now you're going to need some torque wrenches, a pry bar, a pick, and some pliers, and a 19mm wrench. I've got the crow's feet out because I think I'm going to need that in order to torque that ball joint nut once we're done here. Now this little tool right here is pretty inexpensive, but I think this is going to come in handy today, combined with a pry bar, because we'll be able to hook onto that lower control arm and pry that down in order to separate that lower ball joint. That's pretty much everything that you need. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Of course, first we need to take the wheel off. Now take a look closely here on the axle nut. You see how it's not staked down in the keyway? It looks like it was staked maybe over here, and for some reason that has turned. That's not good. That means that this might even just be loose. Hope it's not finger tight. No, it looks pretty good, like it's still tight, but looks like maybe it's backed off a little bit. Maybe that could have also been a part of our problem or been a part of that noise. In any case, we do have the replacement axle, and because this boot is torn and has leaked, you can see it right down there. I'm still going to go ahead and replace this, but that is pretty interesting that the staking did not hold that nut in place. Now here we're going to need the 36mm to take this off. Now if you don't have an impact like this, you can use a breaker bar and you can have somebody step on the brakes, or you can even just put a screwdriver, like a stout screwdriver, up here in the edge of the rotor, and that will catch the caliper bracket, and so that'll prevent it from turning. You can even just use a pry bar here in between the lug nuts, and that'll hold it steady as well. Hopefully the impact will take this right off. There we go. Hopefully this is not stuck. We'll find out here in a little bit, but let's go loosen and remove the lower ball joint nut, and then we'll try to get that separated. All right, now we've got a regular cotter pin in here. These usually use a special cotter pin. We just need to bend that around and try to pull that out. And then we just want to break this loose. This is a 19mm. Okay, I'm going to leave that on and not take it off completely, but what we're going to do is strike this right here in order to break the taper, and I'm going to do that while prying down on this lower control arm. Now that's where this tool comes in really handy. You can just hook it right here on the lower control arm and then use a nice large pry bar, and it fits right in there. Now I'm just going to have somebody apply some downward pressure. I'll probably just have somebody stand on that. I could do it myself, but it's a little tricky. And then I'm going to hit right here on the knuckle to break that taper and try to pop that ball joint out. Okay, go ahead and step on it. Okay, we got it. Now I'm going to release the pressure off of that bar, take this nut off the rest of the way. Now I'm going to have the helper step down on the bar again so that I can pop this ball joint out. All your weight. My helper doesn't weigh enough, so I'm going to try to help with another pry bar and get this to pop out. Okay, now we're free. Okay, let go. That's kind of the hardest part, and it really does help to have somebody. And of course, this tool right here is a huge help. You can see how much easier it is to push down on that. Without this tool, there's really not a whole lot to pry against. I love my big new pry bars from Mayhew. They've been super helpful, and this is a perfect job for this, so thank you to Mayhew Tools. All right, now that we're free from that lower ball joint, let's just tap the axle the rest of the way in. There we go. Real happy this one didn't get stuck. Now let's go around over here. Watch your fingers. There's not a whole lot of room on this one. All right, now I'm going to reach down from below with a pry bar and try to pry this out of the transmission while holding it up. I've also got a little drain pan down below in case we do lose some transmission fluid. All right, just reach up from below with a little pry bar and try to pop that axle out of the transmission. just like that. Just try to pull that straight out so you don't damage the seal. Now I do like to compare the old axle with the new one to make sure that it's all the right length and everything, and it looks correct. Now, one of the things that the instructions say is to center this clip with grease. You can see how that just kind of pops around. It's really loose in there. So let's get a little bit of grease on there before we put that in. That should be good. But now we can go ahead and put the new one in. Just kind of carefully guide that in. And twist it as needed to line up those splines. There we go. I'm just gonna give it a little shove here. There it is. That completely seated into that end of the transmission. So now we can get this into our hub on the other side. Now there seems to be a little bit of debate on whether or not to put anti-seize or any grease on these splines here. I usually do just a little bit because it seems to prevent that from sticking. I'm just gonna use a little bit of this copper anti-seize on the splines here. You don't need to hit every single one, but that just really seems to prevent that from getting stuck if this ever needs to be changed out again. All right, I'm gonna see if I can do this myself. I'm just gonna have to push it down a little bit on this lower control arm. I'm just gonna use my knee on the pry bar, and then I'm gonna try to pull out on this and get that axle started. There it is. Now I'm going to try to line up the lower ball joint and put that in position, and then we can focus on getting everything tight. Okay, this is kind of hard to do by myself. So we'll just push this in a little bit. There we go. Now I've done these in the past without this tool. This made it so much easier to push down on that lower control arm. If I were to do this job again, I would not try it without this tool. Just a little bit of a heads up. As long as you've got a nice big pry bar and this tool, you should be able to do this yourself. All right, now we can start our castle nut here on top of the ball joint. Now, if this ball joint spins on you, you can lift up on the lower control arm and put some pressure on that taper, and that should hold it in place while you torque it. Now the torque spec on this is 80 foot-pounds. I'm going to use this gear wrench, torque wrench with a crow's foot. Hopefully that will fit over here and we can get that torqued. Just can't fit a regular socket in there. There we go. Perfect. This is the flare nut crow's foot, but it worked really well. Now we need to put in a new cotter pin. You should never reuse these. Now from the factory, it comes with a special cotter pin that locks in place, but you should still never reuse that. So this is just a standard one, but it'll work fine. If the hole doesn't line up, you might have to turn it a little bit more, but this one looks like it did. So let's just pop that right in and bend the top up. Okay, that looks good. Okay, now for the new axle nut. You never want to reuse the axle nut. Luckily, ours came with a new one. This is from Import Direct through O'Reilly. Let's just get this one on. Okay, we've got the big pry bar in here. All right, we just need to torque this to 181 foot-pounds. All right. All right, now I'm going to turn the rotor so the keyway is facing up. Right there. Now I'm going to stake the flange of this nut into that keyway. Make sure we stake this down nice and snug. That ain't going nowhere. All right, well, we are done. The new axle is installed. Now we didn't lose too much transmission fluid in that pan, but I am gonna top that off before we head out or head back on the road. We'll let this warm up and then I'll check that level. But again, if you lift up the left side or whatever side that you're doing, maybe a little bit more than what I did, you probably won't even lose very much. Just remember to stake that nice and tight so that that nut doesn't back out on you. We're gonna get the wheel back on and take this for a test drive, make sure that that noise is gone, and this should be good to go. Now I just started it and let it warm up here. I'm going to check the transmission fluid. Let's go ahead and add some. Okay, see if we can get our funnel down there. Okay, we're going to double funnel this one. There we go. Now I happen to have some Honda brand transmission fluid, so let's use that. That looks good. You know, I am curious to measure and see how much we really lost. That just about filled it up here. A little bit more in the pan. I'd say that 1 quart was exactly how much we lost. So let's go ahead and go for our test drive here and make sure that that noise is gone, and then we'll double check, make sure that we're not leaking out of that axle seal, and this should be good to go. Hey, the noise is gone. Oh, that's perfect. That was a nice sharp left turn. We just did a full loop there and no noise at all. This morning when I went for the test drive, this thing was clicking really bad around every single turn. So this is great. Let's do another tight U-turn right here and make sure. There we go. No clicking at all. Sounds good. Well, we're back from a nice long test drive and there's no more noise, no more clicking or popping around turns. This is good to give back to the owner. Just remember to torque everything to spec and don't forget to double check your transmission fluid level and top that off if needed as well. Just really depends on how much you lost when you took the axle out. It's a good idea to double check the axle seal underneath as well after your test drive and make sure that you don't have any drips or anything on the ground. This looks nice and clean, so this is good to go. I hope you liked the video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you don't mind. That does help me out. Of course, I'll get a link in the description where you can pick up a replacement axle for your vehicle along with some of the other parts and tools used in the video as well. Thanks so much for watching and good luck.